Welcome to video 2 of how to outsmart your fat cells. Today we are talking about fat incineration exercises. There's so many different exercises out there, many different types, duration, intensity. How do you know what actually works to get rid of belly fat? Here is the great thing. Science and research has been done on it, and we have some very definitive answers. So when it comes to get rid of belly fat, the first thing that people try to do is to exercise it away. They go for core and ab specific exercises. So have we found that doing crunches and ab exercises actually help get rid of belly fat? Nope, that actually does not work. Doing ab exercises tones the muscle underneath the fat. It doesn't get rid of the belly fat. What about if we do exercises that work a little bit more, that we integrate lower body and upper body together in doing these exercises? Not necessarily. There is no research back that shows that these specific types of exercises where you are still doing stuff on the floor and trying to incorporate more body parts is going to make a huge difference in your ab. How about core focus things? I think we have such a viral focus on core. Oh, we have to core train, we have to do planks, we have to do that. Is that going to help? Actually, no. Again, we are strengthening the muscles underneath the belly fat. So how do we actually lose belly fat? And can exercise help? Absolutely. And I'm going to show you a study that talks about a specific type of exercise. So here's a study from the University of Virginia, and it took middle-aged women who were obese. Group 1 had about 7 participants, and they exercised at low intensity. So think of walking or swimming or doing something where you're at a steady pace, but you can do it for a while, so it's low intensity. Then they took a second group and they did high intensity training. They had about 11 participants and they exercised 5 days a week using high intensity training. So high intensity training meaning that it was very vigorous, that it varied the heart rate level. It was vigorous training. And then the third group, what they did was they took out the type of exercise or the type of intensity, and they had the group to alternate between doing high intensity workouts and low intensity workouts 5 days a week. And they stopped once they burned 400 calories. So it really didn't matter how long they went or what type of exercise they did. All they did was make sure that they burned 400 calories. What do you think the results of this particular study was? Which group actually lost more fat? The high intensity group lost more belly fat. Now, both groups, both the low intensities and the high intensity group, actually lost weight. But the weight loss for the high intensity group was significant, right? So high intensity, we know that when it comes to losing fat, particularly belly fat, so when they measured how much fat they lost and they did measurements as to where they lost the fat from, they found that high intensity group lost more belly fat. So if your goal is to lose belly fat, you have to crank it up a notch. So here is another interesting story. So when we do high intensity work, high intensity can be a whole range of exercise. We can do high intensity interval training running. We can do high intensity weightlifting classes. We can do high intensity body weight classes. We can do high intensity swimming if we are really doing it in a very vigorous way. Then there's lots of different ways that you can do high intensity. But what type has been shown is going to be the most significant and particularly burning belly fat. Now, this study is absolutely fascinating. I was so excited when I came across it because it actually had MRIs with the study to show what was the difference in the belly fat loss. So Here, they had, again, 3 groups. One group was the control group. Control group is normally the no intervention group, if you know a little bit about research and studying. And then they had a group that was a diet-only group. So with this group, what they did was they took the diet that they normally had and they just reduced it by 500 calories a day. And then group 3, they said, okay, we're going to reduce your calories about 500 a day, following a very similar diet as the diet-only group, and they added weight training to their workout, specifically a specific type of weight training where they were, over a 16-week period, they were lifting about 50 to 70% of their 1 rep max. So they were lifting pretty heavy. We're not talking about 5-pound weights, ladies. What group do you think had the most significant weight loss after 16 weeks, right? Their goal was for them to lose about a pound a week. So here's the thing. Even though one group did diet and one group did diet and weight training, they both lost about the same amount of weight. That's important to note. So it will both get you to lose weight. But the group who added weight training, they lost significantly more belly fat. So this is super important, and I blew this up just so you can see how significant this is. So if you notice, the top part of the screen is what the fat around their abdominal look like before the 16 weeks of the study. And the picture B is what the abdominals look like after the 16 weeks of the study. Mind you, they both lost about the same amount of scale weight. But if you notice, the diagram that is on top is the group that the yellow arrow is pointing to that engaged in weight training. Now look at the bottom. Again, the top diagram is of the group that engaged in weight training, and the bottom is diet only. Significant is what the research actually says. They actually use the word significant. The group that engaged in weight training lost a significant amount of belly fat. Now, we can't spot reduce. So these aren't exercises like they did 100 crunches a day. They did weight training exercise, lifting barbells, lifting dumbbells, and they lost fat all over their body. Both groups lost fat everywhere, because we can't spot reduce. We can't say, well, I only want to lose fat in my belly, right? You're going to lose fat all over your body. But when it comes to the belly, the most significant fat loss in that area happens when you add weight to your workout. So remember, the secret to belly fat when it comes to exercise, it's not the type of exercise you do. It's not how many reps you do. It's not how long you exercise. It is the intensity and the weight. And that is the most important thing that you should walk away with. This has been a very fascinating research project for me. And in the next video, I'm going to tell you how to take all of the information from these 2 videos and put it together in a program. What are your next steps? What are you going to do with this information now? So you should find the next video on this page. If not, then it's going to come in your inbox, and I'll talk to you then.